Hello, Twitter! The rookie machine learning models from Zilla Fantasy Elite are now live. I'm here and I'm excited to dive into the upcoming rookie class and analyze them using any of our different models, using your draft capital suggestions as the input. So, how do I do this, you may ask? Well, we have two different running back models. We have a wide receiver and a tight end model as well. You give me a name and you give me their NFL draft capital. Let's just say, hey, they're going 15th overall, or I expect them to go in the middle of the third, which is maybe, pick 80, 90, somewhere in that range. You tell me that info, I'll put it into our models and give you the outputs. That's really the essentials of it. If you want to get a little bit more in depth or have a few more questions, continue watching this video because I'm going to get a little bit more in depth. So what are the models that you might have been asking about? Well, the two running back models, one is a deep neural network machine learning model. It uses all the physical and athletic traits for that particular prospect, a handful of college stats, as well as that NFL draft capital that you provide. And the deep neural network will then run 100 simulations of that player's career, and it'll output that player's career best fantasy points per game in that particular season, provided that player gets at least 80 opportunities in that season. So this is the same model that actually uncovered De'Von Achane last year as the highest ceiling in the 2023 running back class. Again, this is the first year the model came out. It ID'd De'Von Achane. He was kind of outside of some people's top 5. The model was saying he should be number 1 in the class, second best overall in the class. And it also unearthed gems such as Jaleel McLaughlin and Keith Mitchell, who were super good on a play-by-play basis. The other running back model is a simpler regression model that was built in RStudio using 2022 running back output. It's got basic physical traits that most prospects are going to have coming into the league and a couple of college stats that we're obviously going to know about. And it outputs a prospect score that can be considered a fantasy points per game style of a prospect score. So, PPR fantasy points per game, you want a running back kind of north of 20 points in the season. That's pretty good. Historical players for this model have Derrick Henry at number 1 with a prospect score of 19.417. So getting close to that 20 mark. He's the number 1 person in the model. Matt Forte actually number 2 in this model at 19.175. Guys like Leonard Fournette, Zeke Elliott, and Steven Jackson round out the top 10 of this model. Steven Jackson coming out with a prospect score of 18.084, just to give you an idea of how that looks. So despite the relative simplicity of the model, it does seem to do a good job of recognizing the talent that it will produce for fantasy football. And it's also going to output the next best 5 and the next worst 5 players in the models.
But wait, there's more!
We also have models for wide receivers and tight ends. And these models work similarly to the neural network model for running backs in the sense that we're utilizing machine learning to assess them and using the physical and athletic traits, a handful of college stats, and the player's NFL draft capital as inputs. However, there are some major differences compared to that running back model, the neural network model. So number 1 is, instead of using a deep neural network to assess the prospect, we're using XGBoost. Not a big deal for most of you, but I want to be transparent there. Number 2, instead of looking at a prospect and trying to find that prospect's career best fantasy points per game in a season, we're actually going to be looking at prospects' outcome in each of their first 4 years in the league, which is really a lot more valuable for most people, assessing that in Dynasty and knowing who's going to hit, who's going to bust, a lot better than maybe a career best kind of style. And finally, number 3, each year assessed in the model is actually going to run 1,000 simulations for that season to give us player projections for that particular season instead of the 100 from the neural network running back model. So if you're interested in knowing a wide receiver or tight end's projections, as I was saying very early on, all I need from you is the year in the league that you would like to know about for that player and an overall draft pick number. So for instance, if you want to see what it would be like for Marvin Harrison Jr. in his 4th year in the 4th year in the league, you let me know that, hey, I want to know Marvin Harrison Jr., 4th year in the league, and I want to see what it would be like if he went number 3 overall in the NFL draft. You tell me that, and I'll run that through the 1,000 simulations, and I will give you a nice output on Twitter. If you're interested in the running back, a little bit different, you're going to need to tell me which model that you want me to run them through, RStudio model versus the deep neural network model. and then give me that running back's name and the draft capital, and I will get you the info for that particular player. That's kind of how it works. Super simple. You leave a reply on Twitter to this post, and I will get you the info at some point this weekend. So thanks to everybody who made it this far and listening to all of that. If you're interested in it, certainly leave a reply and I'll get back to you at the end of it. And if you're not following already, I really appreciate you making it this far. Hit the follow button. Also go to the Zilla Fantasy Elite brand page on Twitter as well, at Zilla Fantasy. Give them a follow as well. Get slightly different info depending on which one you're looking at. So behooves you to watch both. Anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I really hope you're excited for this. I'm excited for it. I want to get you guys, especially those of you who draft in dynasty leagues that go before the NFL draft. It's kind of crazy, but I've seen it done. This can get you prepared a little in advance. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that follow, and thanks for watching. Bye.